Welcome back to another video, and before we jump on into this video I just want to do the usual. If you're new here, please make sure you've hit that subscribe button. I really want to see you stick around. If you're already subscribed, then make sure you've got your notification bell switched on just so you're notified of whenever I upload a video, and why not give the video a thumbs up. And now we can jump on into this video. So today guys, we are going to be doing a testing foundation video. I don't think I've done one of these, or if I have, it might have been a long time ago because I can't remember doing it. I've done like testing foundations within other videos, but this is just gonna be like a testing foundation video. Yeah, anyway, so that's why I've already done my eyes and my brows off camera, because they're not relevant to this particular video. So I had seen that L'Oreal have relaunched their Infallible range. I know they used to do Infallible, but this is obviously a reformulation or a relaunch. I'm not quite sure which one it is. On the Boots website it does say it's a new launch, and they've also launched the Infallible More Than Concealers. I'm going to talk about this a little bit later on in the video when we get into using it, but first off, because we're going to be using this near enough straight away, I'm going to just chat a little bit about this first. So this is the Infallible 24-hour fresh wear foundation. It looks like this. Now the Infallible range is not something that's new, it's been around a long time, but like I said, this is definitely either new or a relaunch. So this says, want your foundation to last as long as you? Meet the new L'Oreal Infallible 24-hour fresh wear foundation for the ultimate resistance. It's a new standard in long wear coverage. It's transfer proof, life proof, party proof and waterproof, so you get more from your makeup. With this fresh wear foundation, long wear no longer means thick and heavy coverage. Obviously I like a full coverage. If I can have something that's not as thick and heavy, that would be amazing, because you don't want it to look cakey. It says it's innovative oxygen technology, and it gives a lightweight feel whilst the ultra stretchable formula ensures full coverage application, so little goes a long way. It's available in 26 shades, which is actually a really nice shade range. They do a lot of darker, lighter and medium skin tones as well, because I did notice that when I was having a little flick through the website. Not all stores stock all of the shades though, because when I was in Superdrug the other day, they didn't have a lot of the very light and the very dark skin tones. So definitely either go online or go to a bigger store if you're maybe a deeper or a lighter skin tone, because for some reason they don't stock all of the skin tones in stores, which is really annoying, but that's just because they don't have the room I suppose to stock them. And it says it's a long wear formula that lasts up to 24 hours, which is amazing. So what we're going to be doing is I'm just going to prime my face. I'm going to do the usual, I'm just going to do my usual priming of my face with the Release Lac Creme Concentrate. I always use this, so there's no difference. Then we're going to go in and we're going to apply the foundation. What I thought I would do is, because not everyone likes to use a beauty blender, some guys do use a brush. So on one side of the face I'm going to blend this out with a brush, on the other side I'm going to use the beauty blender. We'll see which side it sort of applies better on, and then I'm going to do a wear test, wear this throughout the day, sort of check in with you, see what it wears like with it supposedly being 24-hour wear, and yeah, we'll just see what happens with it, and then I'll give you my feedback towards the end of the day once I've wore this for a little while and we've had a chance to sort of see what it wears like. And we're also going to see what the concealer wears like as well, but I want to go in with the foundation first. So I'm just going to tie my hair back out of my way, and I've got my dampened beauty blender, and I've also got my buffing foundation brush. So I think on, let's have a look, this side of the face will go in with the beauty blender and this side of the face will go in with the brush. So I got the shade 100 Linen, that's just the one that I went for, but like I say, they do a lot of other shades. Just put a little bit of this primer all over my face. So we'll start with this and see what happens. It's quite a, for a full coverage foundation, I will say straight away, it is quite runny, so it'd be quite interesting to see what it applies like. The shade looks good. So it's a really funny consistency for a full coverage foundation, because it is quite a runny formula. It is very lightweight. Ignore the fact I've got like super dodge fake tan that clearly needs scrubbing off. I've been really poorly with, I've had really poorly tooth. I've had really bad toothache and I've been really poorly, and I've literally just been like not asked to do anything. I think this might apply better with a brush. Buildable, definitely is buildable, but I just don't like, I wouldn't say it's, definitely wouldn't say it's a full coverage foundation, not with a sponge anyway. It might be more full coverage with the brush, but it's definitely not full coverage with a sponge. I would say it's more of a medium coverage. It is nice and lightweight, which I do like that. It doesn't feel like I'm wearing anything. So I'm just going to go in on the other side and we'll blend this one out with a brush and see if this looks any better blended out with a brush, or if it performs any better blended out with the brush. Just start with a little bit and see what happens. So straight away I can actually tell I prefer this with a brush, definitely. It just seems to be blended out nicer. So I definitely think if you're going to go for this one, it might be one you want to go for with a brush. Right guys, I've found the perfect application technique for this. So for me, buff it out with a brush first and then just press it in with the beauty blender, and that gives a really nice finish to the skin. I really like the way that that's applied with the mixture of the two. That's how I would do it, definitely. So I'm just going to put a little bit on my forehead and then I'm going to see if I can build this up a little bit. It's definitely, like, I am impressed with how lightweight it is for the amount of coverage, but I do definitely think it's more a medium, possibly buildable coverage than it is full coverage. I suppose it depends on what you class as full coverage. I mean, like, to me, Kat Von D's like full coverage queen, and it's definitely not the same level of coverage as that, or even as the Revolution foundation that I really like. But I do like how it does make your skin look my skin looks really fresh, and it's got it's definitely not like matte, it's got like a dewiness to it. But I don't know if you can see. Can you just, you definitely can, because I can see just looking through the lens how my redness is still showing through, where when I use the Revolution Conceal and Define, or I use the likes of the Kat Von D one, I don't have any redness shining through. So it's definitely not, for me, like full coverage foundation. I just want to go back in and see if I can lay this up a little bit. It is building. Definitely building. So it is a buildable foundation. Yes, it's definitely buildable. I really like that, actually. I'm quite surprised. I just like how fresh it makes my skin look. I always like to see how things meld into the skin though. I want to see how my powder and things sit on top of this, because that's a whole nother test in itself. Now I'm going to go in and try the new Infallible concealer, which is the Infallible More Than Concealer. I got this in Ivory, and to be quite honest, it very much reminds me of Tarte Shape Tape in terms of the packaging. I've heard this is amazing. It's definitely more of a full coverage one, so if you're not a full coverage type of concealer girl, it might not be your cup of tea. This in the shade 322 Ivory, because I quite like a light concealer to like sort of highlight areas. So this, I love the fact it's called More Than Concealer. So this is £9.99. This says, whatever your concern, blemishes, dark circles, uneven skin tone, we've got you covered. There's 25 shades in the range. You can brighten, contour, correct or highlight with them. That's why it's more than a concealer. That's really clever, I like that. It's a high pigmented elastic formula to give you ultimate full coverage with a totally lightweight feel. Enjoy ultra long wear with undetectable finish that doesn't crease or settle into fine lines. That's a big claim. Use the draw foot applicator to dab, dot or swipe with expert precision and ease. So I'm really excited to try this and see what it's like, because it looks amazing, and I just can't wait to try it. So let's just jump right in. Definitely a very thick formula. Really like this like giant doe foot applicator in concealers. So let's blend this out with, I always blend my concealer out with a beauty blender, always, without a doubt. It's just the way I prefer to do it. So let's start and blend this out and see what it's like. Oh, it's very brightening. It's nice and easy to blend out as well. It's not like sticking to any patches or anything like that. It's covering really nicely. I feel like it's making my eye area look like so bright. Now, I can tell you straight away it is creasing in my eye area, but that isn't this concealer. Literally, it doesn't matter what you do. It's like everyone has like certain things like that. I know people who have smile lines, it doesn't matter what you put on, it's going to crease. That's the same thing with my under eye area. It doesn't matter what I put on. Even my like Faithful collection concealer creases under the eye. So there's literally nothing you can do about that, really. That's just how it is. I do like the foundation with the concealer though. It's a really nice combination. Just blend this bit out on my forehead. It's definitely more of a dewy foundation than what I expected for like a full coverage, long lasting foundation. I didn't expect it to be so dewy, because at the moment I've been wearing quite matte foundations, but I really love how bright that's made under my eye. You can see just by looking, my under eye area looks so bright. Right, so now we've done that, I don't have any other products to test. I'm just going to go in and I'm going to do my powders, see how my powders and everything sit on top of it, and then what I will do is I will check in with you in a few hours and do a couple of check-ins throughout the day to show you what it's sort of looking like. So guys, I'm just going to go in with the Beauty Bakery flour powder, which is what I've been using. I just want to stick to my usual routine when testing this out, so it's giving it a fair test. And to be quite honest, I've just had a little look in my bathroom mirror, because when you're sat in front of these lights, it can look it's very difficult because they pick up all your texture when you're looking in the mirror, and I don't think anything looks particularly great. But when I've just had a look there, this foundation's starting to settle now on my skin because it's been on a little while, and I do like how it looks. It does look really pretty. It is definitely, I don't know, it's built up a little bit, so it has like, I definitely think if you want it to be full coverage, you do need to build it up, because you can see there's not as much redness on show now. I've built that up a little bit, but it is making my skin look really nice and flawless. So to be quite honest, I'm impressed so far. I'm just wondering how this is going to wear and how my products are going to sit on top of it. So let's just go in with this powder. Now I've got a couple of little dark, you might not even be able to see them on camera, but the little dark spots where I've been naughty and I've been picking. It doesn't matter what concealer you put on them, they're just not going to cover. They're so dark that it's just, it is what it is, do you know what I mean? You have to sort of live with it, with me being a bit pooly and run down. That's how it sort of is. Right, I have just noticed there when I'm trying to powder my nose, where I've put, let's see if you can see, where I've put that, yeah you can see it, where I've put that powder over the concealer and the foundation. Can you see how it's moved a little bit? So maybe that doesn't lay very well together. I'm not sure. It's alright everywhere else, but we'll just see how that wears throughout the day. Not an issue. Right, I'm just going to go in then and finish off the rest of my face. I'm going to go in with like my bronzer and everything like that, and just finish off basically a bronzer, highlighter and all that sort of. So I'm just going to pop off camera. I'm going to finish off a few little bits. I've just got my lips and stuff to do. It's not really like vital to this tutorial, vital to this testing video. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to check in with you in a couple of hours time and just do a couple of check-ins throughout the day, and we will see what this wears like and give it a really good wear test to figure out whether we approve this or whether it gets a thumbs down. We'll just have to see what happens. I am at the moment liking the way that it's sort of settling into my skin, but we'll just have to see how that wears throughout the day. So we'll catch up with you in a little while. Hey guys, I just wanted to do a quick check-in with this foundation. It's been on my face for just a couple of hours now, and to be quite honest, I'm really liking the way that it looks. It does look really nice. The only issue that I've had was that sort of patchiness on my nose, but I did go back in and pat that with a beauty blender, and since I've done that, it's fine. I'm really enjoying how it looks. It looks really pretty on the skin, and in person it actually looks prettier in person than what it does on the camera. So yeah, so far so good. I'm impressed with it. The concealer, let me just have a quick check. To be quite honest, the concealer's creased quite badly underneath my eye, but I did like how bright it did make my eye area look. So it's just one of those things, isn't it? I think I need to try that out a little bit more. But yeah, I'll catch up with you in another couple of hours and we'll see how this is still wearing a little bit later on. Hey guys, I just thought I would do a quick check-in. This is probably going to be my last check-in before my final check-in later on tonight. I've probably had this foundation on for, what time are we now? About 6 hours. 7 hours, and to be quite honest, it's wearing really nicely. I am a little bit shinier than what I usually am, but I think it's because the foundation's more dewy. I don't look oily as such. I'm just a little bit more luminescent, is that the word? I think it's because like I say, the foundation is more like a fresh dewy looking foundation, like it's like a dewy long wear. I really like this. I'm enjoying it so far. It's not my favourite foundation, but I'm not used to having like such lightweight full coverage, maybe that's why, but I do love how it feels because you can't even tell you've got it on your face, and it doesn't feel like I'm wearing anything. I do really like it. And just so you know, for reference, I have oily combo skin, so it's not started to break down anywhere yet. Apart from the issue I had this morning with my nose, I haven't had any issues. I've not topped up or anything, and the concealer's doing okay. It has, you might be able to see, just it has sunk into my creases underneath my eyes, but to be quite honest, that always happens to me. Even my collection concealer does that. That's just, it is what it is. But I love how bright it made under my eye area look, so it's definitely something I want to play about with. I actually want to play about with that and use it with my favourite foundation at the moment, which is the Revolution one, and see what it's like. But I've really enjoyed this foundation so far, and so far it's definitely getting a thumbs up. We'll just check in for a final check-in later on. Hey guys, so I'm literally like, it's coming towards the end of the night now. It's probably about 7 o'clock or something. I've left this on as long as I can. I'm just going to have a little look in the bathroom to see what it looks like. To be honest, it's actually worn really well. It has stayed in place. There's a few places where it's come off, but that's because I've knocked it myself. Like, I rubbed my nose because I forgot I had makeup on. But I actually really I'm really impressed with how well it's lasted, especially for the formula. I know it does say it's long wear, but I just didn't expect the foundation to last quite as long. It is starting to go ever so slightly oily now, but I've really enjoyed this foundation. I've not topped up all day, so it's definitely something that I would recommend. So this one is Amber Howe approved. And I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. If you want to see more foundation testing videos, let me know what foundations you want me to test out down below, and I shall see you in the next one. Mwah. Thanks for watching.